What the hell?
Tweaking. YouTube, right now we're on our way to get my haircut. We up in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. I've never been up here. I know this is like North Wales, Huntington Valley. You guys are familiar with Philadelphia. This is like a far suburb of it. LeBron
James.
I don't need it.
We got a refusal.
I don't even need it, bro. I don't even. It's a beam. Connected. There's no leak in it, no air coming out. So YouTube, basically that Tuesday, I came in the shop and like, it smelled like motor oil, like a motor. And then as I walked closer to my station, the compressor was smoking. Like it was literally smoking, not a lot, but it was smoking and it was like humming, like, it was like wheezing. It was gasping for air. It was crazy. Immediately turned it off. It was hot. I felt it was hot. Like it was emitting a lot of heat. I didn't even use it that day. I told my clients I couldn't enhance their cuts and they didn't care because, you know. But man, it almost exploded, man. Like that was at 8 o'clock, 8:15 in the morning. And just to remind you guys, I don't go into the shop at all on the weekends. So I wasn't there from Saturday till Tuesday. So I must have been doing that the entire weekend and through Monday. That's insane. I'm sure it would have exploded. Don't be like me, don't be stupid. So to jump into this haircut tutorial, we're gonna be doing a number 8 on top / kind of like a 7.5. He got a mean cowlick in his front, like a double cowlick, a very harsh swirl. So right now we're gonna debulk with our number 7 guard on our Mythic clippers. If you guys wanna buy these clippers, you can use my promo code The4thKen for 10% off, or any other Stylecraft or Gamma products. And I'm trying to be safe by going in with my 7 on the sides, just to see what I'm working with. He usually woofs a lot, like for a very long time before getting a haircut. So a lot of new creases can form, new cowlicks. As you can see, the side that I'm going to be showing you guys how to fade, it has a new cowlick. So right now I have my 8 guard and I'm going against the grain, but I'm avoiding the front bang area because we want to leave his bangs. So I'm combing it down. This is where the crazy cowlick is. So it's right there. So I'm pretty much avoiding it. And just notice how I'm utilizing my comb. Can't really do this with a brush. I mean, you can if you really try hard enough, but I recommend using a comb. Once I debulk and cut all the hair off the head, I usually like to blow dry it just to get all those loose hairs out. And now we're gonna start our fading process. So I have my number 5 guard and I'm debulking on the sides. And you see his cowlick in the back. It isn't usually like that, but it's because, you know, sometimes when you woof too long and over woof, new creases can form. Now we're starting our first guideline with our Babyliss FX clippers, and my lever is fully closed. And now we're gonna get rid of all the hair under that with our trimmer. The reason why I went in with my clipper first is because since it's a low fade, we're gonna try and keep our best to keep it as low as possible and without stretching it too high up. So to help us do that, you know, you don't want to go in with your liners, rather just go in with my clippers. Now I have my lever fully open, and we are not going up an inch. We're going up about 1/2 inch, possibly about 3/4 of an inch in the back. Next step, our one guard, and the same thing. About 1/2 inch, not a full inch. This is a compressed low fade. We're not gonna be stretching it at all. Next, I drop back down, if you guys saw, and I close my lever on my one guard. So this is my one guard fully closed. And now I have my four guard with my lever fully open, and then I closed it right here. And what this is doing is basically cleaning up what the 5 didn't get. Basically setting the foundation of the fade. Then I switched to my 3 guard, and this is pretty much also still debulking. Once you close the lever, then it will start to fade that in, but the 2 guard is gonna be, what we're gonna be doing most of the work with. So this is my 3 guard, lever fully closed. And now this is my 2, and the lever is fully open. Now, notice how I'm flicking out as I close the lever right here. So it's open, and then I close it. So I pretty much do open just to flick out, just to debulk, and then I close it to really get in between. Then I switch to my 1.5 guard, and this is pretty much gonna get that top guideline out. But notice how I'm utilizing the corners of the guard. I love this guard because it's perfect, that perfect in-between area. Now this is my 0.5 Babyliss guard, which to me, in my opinion, is like a 0.75 guard. And this basically gets it ready for the 0.5 wall premium guard that I have right now. So that's like the very slimmest 0 guard. It cuts shorter than the Andis and the Babyliss 0. And what I'm doing is I'm basically getting out that middle guideline with my lever halfway, and then my lever is fully closed. Now this is what the entire fade has been leading up to. This is the bottom guideline. And just notice how I'm using the corners of my blade, specifically that right corner, because I don't know if you guys are fully aware of this, but I will be dropping a video about it soon. I talked about it in the comment section of my last video, but I have my clipper blade set crooked. So I have it zero gapped on one side and just set regular on the other side. So that's how I'm easily able to get this bottom line out pretty much effortlessly. Now towards the back, sometimes it's always still a struggle, even if I have my liners. Some people's, the back of their head, has creases and ridges and shadows. So I did have to switch to my wedge blade, but right now we're doing some clipper over comb just to establish a good shape. You do want to have a good shape when you have a low fade, just because the back of the head can still stick out, especially around that crown area. And right here, this is my wedge blade. Now, the difference between the wedge blade and the regular blade is that the wedge blade cuts closer. It's more like a surgical blade. And we're gonna get started on the shape up. We're just gonna be lining his C cup on this side before we attack his front line. Because as you can see, that cowlick is crazy. Definitely the most difficult hairline I've ever had to deal with. It's very, very difficult. And as you can see, I'm following the same process in the back and on the other side. So as you guys can see, the fade came out pretty much blurry. We do need to do some clipper over comb detail work that we'll do later. But this side of his C cup, it does grow lower, so you'll see me push it back a little bit in a few moments after this. And then we're gonna do some clipper over comb later, as you guys will see. As you see those dark areas around the C cup, I definitely wanted to fix that. But as you can see, he has a crazy, crazy cowlick. Definitely one of the most challenging hairlines I've ever had to do. I've been cutting him for a long time. He comes about like once every 2 to 3 months. And it's always tricky because when he woofs, you know, it creates new growth patterns, new cowlicks. As you guys saw, I took my thinning shears, kind of went with the grain. And now we're just doing a basic shape up. Now this is all bangs, so it isn't a pushback. It's all bangs. So it's a tricky hairline, definitely challenging, especially right here. His side vertical bars grow outward, so it's like I gotta tilt my trimmer blade like this to even cut the hair. Not to make it sharp, but to even make a dent in the hair, I have to, you know, tilt my blade like that. Now a trick I like to do is take my shears and kind of go against the grain, iron those vertical bars just to make it a little bit more crispier. And this is the other side. As you can see, his C-cup was higher up on this side naturally. So we're gonna go back and adjust this side just to kind of get it to match. You don't always want it to match perfectly because you don't want to push it back too far, but we got it to match. And this is how he's looking. We're gonna detail the back. As you can see, that's a nice tight low fade. And this is how he came in, and this is how he's leaving.